Okay, hello friends. Today there's a small part left from the hemodynamics about the pulmonary hemodynamics. Okay, I'll be discussing that in short. So yesterday we said in the in hemodynamics of coronary circulation, we said there are certain metabolites that are being released, due to which there will be accordingly that vasodilatation and vasoconstriction, isn't it? Isn't it, guys? Yesterday we have talked that. Also, we talked about cutaneous circulation, that sympathetic neurogenic supply is more out there, which is causing the vasoconstriction, maintaining the body temperature, thermoregulation, isn't it? And then we also said we have skeletal muscle circulation, where we had a beta 2 mediated dilatation, because it needs more blood so that it can work more in that sympathetic activity. And then also we said cerebral circulation. We talked about Monroe-Kelly doctrine, where we said that we have to take three things in brain: volume of brain, CSF, intracranial blood. These all should remain constant. And we calculated that we read some values that if an average brain is weighing a 1400 gram brain with a 75 ml of blood and 75 ml of spinal fluid. So we also said the theory is saying that once you have an increase in one quantity, the other quantity should get proportionally decreased, so that the whole system remains constant. That's it. That's what we said. And we said we had a method, that is Getty method, and we said gray matter is using approximately how much blood? Gray matter is using 69 ml per 100 gram per minute, and 28 ml per 100 gram per minute is used by white matter. And we said in the awake, in a normal resting subject, we have a blood flow greatest perfusion in the premotor and frontal regions. I hope we have revised everything what we learned, isn't it? And we said, who is the major controller of cerebral blood flow? It is the carbon dioxide. It's a vasodilator. And we also said the PaCO2. If we are decreasing the blood flow, for example, from 20 to 80, we have a normal toleration. We tolerate the carbon dioxide level 20 to 80. If we halve the PaCO2 from 40 to 20, then the blood flow should also get halved. And if you are raising the PaCO2 from 40 to 80, then it should also get doubled. That is, it is following a linear, more or less a linear trend, isn't it? Fine. Then we also talked about some vasodilators like ACE inhibitor you can give as a vasodilator, because it won't be producing more angiotensin and you won't get vasoconstriction. Okay. Now today I want to tell you about pulmonary circulation. See, yesterday we also read some values. I told you that we have a systemic vascular resistance and pulmonary vascular resistance. In pulmonary vascular resistance, what we said? We said the perfusion pressure is what? 7 mmHg, isn't it? That was we were able to calculate that from mean pressure minus left atrial pressure. And we said the perfusion pressure for the systemic circulation is 90 mmHg, isn't it? And I told you what else I told you? I told you about active hyperemia. I told you about reactive hyperemia. I told you about autoregulation, isn't it? So today I want to tell more about this pulmonary vascular resistance. See, if you will say, sir, what is the systemic vascular? Do you know what is systemic vascular resistance and PVR? PVR means the resistance which is being produced by virtue of these vessels, the vessels of all the pulmonary system. Can you understand? All the vessels of our pulmonary system, they are behaving as resistors. They are behaving as resistances. So that total of all those resistances contributes to pulmonary vascular resistance. Easy. Now talking about everything except pulmonary. Everything except pulmonary is behaving as a systemic vascular resistance, or you call it total peripheral resistance. You call it total peripheral. Peripheral means periphery resistance. First we said yesterday, sir, vessels are behaving as more of the arterial sides, they are behaving as resistances. If you add all those resistances except the pulmonary vasculature, you will say it is a systemic vascular resistance. Okay, or total peripheral resistance. Total. Clear? I will make it right. It's not something for writing. Okay, PVR means the resistance is produced by the pulmonary vasculature. Pulmonary vasculature. SVR is the resistance produced by the all the peripheral blood vessels. All the peripheral blood vessels. Sometimes you will see this interchanged with TPR, total peripheral resistance. Total peripheral resistance. Fine? Clear? Okay, this is small definition. It does not need any, I think, any explanation. Okay, systemic vascular resistance produced by the vessels of the periphery. Now see, I have to discuss something which is important. That is PVR. If you want to know how much is PVR is equal to SVR, if you want to say who is contributing more of resistance, is it PVR or is it SVR? It is SVR. Yesterday we had said. So PVR is 1 by 10th of SVR. Guys, can we understand? PVR is 1 by 10th of SVR. PVR is 1 by 10th of SVR. Okay. Now, if you want to lower, if you want to decrease the peripheral vascular resistance, wrong, pulmonary vascular resistance. Okay. Don't get it confused with don't get confused with the acronym. The acronym is SVR is what? Systemic vascular resistance. Systemic vascular resistance, also called TPR, total peripheral resistance. Total peripheral resistance. But this is pulmonary vascular resistance. Pulmonary, that is the vessels of the lungs. The blood vessels which are present in the lungs, they are behaving as resistances. That's why I taught you hemodynamics in the beginning. That's why I taught you hemodynamics in the beginning. Because I knew that I have to use the word resistance. Now I don't need any explanation for resistance. I hope you are understanding my language. So this is PVR. Rest all which are behaving as faucets. You are coming from aorta, you had that chart. Do we remember? We had CNS, we had heart. So all those blood vessels which are supplying these are systemic. So this becomes the systemic vascular resistance. Okay, we are using the same concept what we have learned. Nothing new. Okay, coming here. Now, PVR is 1 by 10th of systemic resistance. That means if I am a mathematical student, that means SVR is 10 times PVR. That is SVR is 10 times PVR. SVR is 10 times PVR. Okay. Easy. Now, if you want to decrease the pulmonary vascular resistance, what comes in my mind? Should I use a large diameter vessel? Should I make the diameter of the vessel large if I want to decrease the PVR? The resistance, if I want to decrease, should I increase the diameter? If the vessel was this much, I should make it this much. I should make it this much. No, you should reply fast so that I can understand that you are learning. And I should decrease the length. And should I make them more parallel or series? To decrease the PVR? Yes, guys, we have learned everything. Parallel, that's a beautiful answer. We have to take them in the parallel because we said in the parallel there is 1 by R. The resistances are getting 1 by R addition, isn't it? So that means we have, if you want to decrease the PVR, that's why what God did is he kept the vessels in parallel. In the pulmonary vascular system. It's also in this, but I am talking right now about PVR. That's why the vessels in the pulmonary vasculature have large diameter. So you yourself explained it. And I am, just adding this in the concept. You know the concept. Now we are adding it in the tissue. We are adding this concept in the tissue. Lower the PVR. How to decrease the PVR? You have to increase the diameter. You have to decrease the length, and you have to make it more parallel. That's what is happening in the lungs. You have a large diameter vessels in the lungs. You have a short length vessels, and you have more parallel blood vessels. Okay, in this pulmonary system. So that means, see, listen to my words. I want to make a generalization very beautifully written by Harrison, internal medicine, third year. He is saying, I got that, what I understood from that book is saying that in the respiratory, In short, I want to say like this. Here you are seeing that PVR is what? It is 1/10th of SVR. This is clear. And this 1/10th is because of what? 1/10th is because of what? It is because of large diameter vessels, short length, and more parallel vessels. So this is because of the more parallel vessels. But see, if it is 1/10th of the vessels, I am saying it is 1/10th of SVR, but it is having more amount of parallel arrangement than the SVR, than the systemic circulation. Are we clear? PVR is less than the SVR. What? PVR is less than the SVR. By how much? 1/10th. It's only 1 in a part of 10th. It's only having 1 in a part of 10. Is it clear? But I am telling you, it is having more amount of parallel elements, more amount of parallel vessels. It's having more amount of parallel vessels. Okay. Okay, friends. So all should come on time from tomorrow, please. Okay. Okay. So who is contributing to major resistances out of all the vasculature? Which type of blood vessel is contributing to the highest resistance? It is the arteriole. So in the systemic vascular resistances, I want to make it clear here. There is one concept which is problematic where students get confused. In the systemic circulation, you have arterioles which are behaving as a big major contributor of systemic vascular resistance. Systemic circulation, SVR, is mostly by arterioles. But I want to tell you a concept. In the lungs, you have equal resistances being contributed by all those vessels. They are in parallel, but they are behaving as equal resistances. If I take pulmonary artery, if I take pulmonary capillaries, let me write like this. If I take pulmonary capillaries, okay, this is the lung. Okay, let me show you in a diagrammatic way so you can remember more. See, I have a parallel arrangement, okay? Parallel arrangement. Now, see, this is the big vessel. This is a small vessel in the lungs in the parallel arrangement. And we have veins coming out, okay? So this is an artery. This is an artery. This is the middle one is capillary, and this is a vein, okay? Now, these are all in parallel. But what is the concept? The concept is that whatever resistance will be produced by this will also be produced by the vessel. Whatever resistance will be produced by artery, pulmonary artery, will be produced by the pulmonary vein, will be produced by the capillary, pulmonary capillary. Are we clear? So what is the contribution? If I talk about this is behaving as 1/3. This is behaving as 1/3. This is behaving as 1/3. So pulmonary artery 1/3, pulmonary vein 1/3, and pulmonary capillaries 1/3. Is this the case in the systemic vasculature? No, sir. In the systemic vasculature, we have arterioles who are majorly contributing. So in the lungs, we have arterioles. We can't say the pulmonary arterioles are being doing. No, we will say it's an equal contribution of the resistances in PVR by the pulmonary artery, pulmonary vein, pulmonary capillaries. 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. Fine. Sir, which of the following parts do you think, if I take A, B, C for example, which of the following parts is gravitated? Where will the fluid gravitate? Down. So gravity will be having more effect on the lower regions of the lungs. Okay. So the gravity, the area which is gravity dependent. So gravity dependent portion of the lung will have PVR less. Okay. Why? Because hydrostatic pressure of the blood is more. Hydrostatic pressure of the blood is more. I hope you understand the pressures. I have taught you in the first day. No need to explain it. So hydrostatic pressure of the blood is more here. Since fluid is gravitating at this place, the hydrostatic pressure of the blood is more. That's why PVR is decreasing. That's why PVR is decreasing. Okay. So we have a concept in the lungs respiratory physiology that is called FRC, functional residual capacity. Okay. Just remember here I will be teaching you in respiratory physiology. In PVR will also decrease in FRC. And basically it is the lowest in FRC. Okay. You should remember it is the lowest in FRC. So that means if you increase a lung volume, for example, you are at a normal tidal volume, and then what happens that you directly go to FRC. You have directly go to FRC. Okay, you go to FRC, you change the FRC. Let me say like this: you change the FRC. If you do any change in the FRC, once you do any change in FRC, see my words. If you do any change in FRC, that is whether you decrease the FRC or you increase the FRC, PVR will increase. Is clear? So there will be PVR will change. If you can't understand it, just remember right now PVR will change. Okay, PVR will change. But where is the PVR lowest? Which phase? FRC. FRC. At FRC baseline, your PVR is lowest. It is lowest. Fine. Did you understood the PVR concept? So is there any role of gravity on the PVR? Is there any role of gravity on the PVR? If they ask you a question, yes, sir. Is there any role of gravity on the SVR, systemic vascular resistance? Is there any role of gravity on SVR? Yeah, so you should say very, very negligible role. Very much negligible. Okay, very much negligible role. Very little. Okay, fine. Is it clear? Are we understanding the hemodynamic part? See how much easy now it will become to learn cardiac physiology, because you have the knowledge of every organ. You have the knowledge of every organ. Fine. Now, which vessels do you see which is more compliant? Is it systemic vessels are more compliant or pulmonary vessels are more compliant? If yes, why? No, why? See, I will tell you one concept. The concept is that the compliance is more in the lungs. The compliance is more in the lung vessels. Okay, the PVR is more. Why? See, because once you increase the pulmonary artery pressure, pulmonary artery is going from the right ventricle. So once you increase the pulmonary artery pressure, what will happen? The blood is coming more to the lungs. What will lung do? Lung will start doing distension of capillaries, because it's an expansile organ. Have you seen? It's an expansile organ. Every breathing you are expanding and contracting the chest. So it will cause distension of the the vessels. Okay, and more capillaries will be produced. More capillaries are put into work. Not produced, put into work. More capillaries are made to work. That's why you have more compliance of pulmonary vessels. Okay, that's the reason. That's the beautiful reason. Once you are doing an exercise, the pressure in the pulmonary bed will not be so much, because you are giving high cardiac output. What a beautiful concept. This medical science is so beautiful. Once you are doing the exercise, what will happen? You are giving more cardiac output. That means you are sending more blood for the oxygenation. That means you are sending more blood for the lungs, to the lungs. That means the lungs should oxygenate. What they should do? They should increase the capillary work so that more oxygen gets exchanged. That means they are sending more blood to the pulmonary vasculature, and that's why you have less resistance, because of the more compliance of the pulmonary vessels. Okay, but once you are being strangulated, somebody strangulates you. Can you understand the strangulation? He just stops your breathing. You are going into hypoxia. Your lungs will undergo, lung vessels will undergo vasoconstriction. So once you have hypoxia in the lungs, if you get hypoxia in the lungs, you will get vasoconstriction of the vessels. Is it clear? What happens normally? Remember this concept. Once you have hypoxia, you have vasoconstriction. What a beautiful concept. What a beautiful medical science. In the lungs, I'm talking about the lungs, you have vasoconstriction. But if you talk about systemic vasculature, there is vasodilation. You talk about systemic vasculature, there is vasodilation. In hypoxia, because they want more acids to be released. But here it is vasoconstriction. Remember, lungs, once you have hypoxia, once you have a decreased oxygen in the tissue, in the lungs, you have vasoconstriction. You have vasoconstriction. Clear? Okay. Is it clear? No, if you are understanding this physiology, I am telling you, I am promising you, you will understand the disease in a beautiful way. That's the beauty of physiology. Now, every disease will make a meaning for you. I promise. Every disease, when you are understood, you will say, yeah, this person will have vasoconstriction. Why? Because he's not able to breathe, he's not having this, so that means you will be having that COPD type of scenario. I have to give him bronchodilator. I have to give him. Can we understand? Can we understand how it is applicative? One point makes a difference. Only one point makes a difference in understanding. So once you will be giving, you will say, they will tell you, should I give vasodilators or vasoconstrictors in lungs? You will say, oh, it's hypoxia. Yeah, it's hypoxia. Lungs undergo vasoconstriction. So why will I give vasoconstrictor? I will give vasodilator in lungs. But once they tell you, my systemic vasculature, my kidney is going into hypoxia, my spleen is going into hypoxia, what will you say? Spleen is going into hypoxia. Yeah, it's a peripheral vessel. Yeah. So what does it mean? It means peripheral vessels undergo vasodilatation in the hypoxia. So what should I do? I should give vasoconstrictor. I should give vasoconstrictor. Guys, are we able to understand? Are we able to understand how medical science is working? It's a roller coaster, guys. Roller coaster. We will someday go to roller coaster. Don't worry. We'll go in a big picnic for roller coaster. Okay. Don't worry. So vasodilatation, systemic vascular resistance, vasodilatation, systemic. Now I want to tell you three statuses. Three status. What? Three WhatsApp status. Do we know the three status of the lung? Supine state, standing state. Just remember two first. Okay. Just remember two first. Okay. Let me tell you two. What is happening to the lung in the supine state? In the supine state, why it's not working? Okay, in the supine state, remember what is happening to the blood flow. We have or you can say equal distribution. We have equal distribution or uniformity. Uniformity. Do you know supine? This, guys, this. Okay. Can we see the spine? Okay. Okay, he's looking towards the sky. So in this, the lung is, I can visualize the lung like this. Okay. So you will have a uniform distribution of blood. You will have a uniform distribution of blood. All the lungs will be perfused very nicely. Very nicely they will be perfused. But once I go into the standing state, what will happen? Blood is not uniformly, it's non-uniform. Because once he is standing, now I take his lung in the standing mode, he will gravitate the blood. The blood will gravitate. That's why we said gravity is affecting it. So it will be more on a lower side. Is it clear? Okay. So generally, who is receiving the highest blood flow? Who is receiving the highest blood flow? It is the zone 3. Zone 3. Zone 3 of the lung is having the highest blood flow, perfusion. Blood, see my English, high blood flowest. I had to write this highest here, but I am seeing high blood flowest, high blood lowest. Okay, zone 1, zone 1, zone 1 is having the lowest blood flow. Sir, where is zone 1, zone 3? It's simple. I will make a lung for you. Remember, lung is like this. This is the apex of the lung. Remember first, where is the apex, where is the base? You should know the anatomy. This is the apex of the lung, which is in your neck, supraclavicular. Your lung is reaching above the clavicle, isn't it? It's touching your clavicle, above the clavicle, where you have the supraclavicular fossa. So, apex is receiving. Apex is which zone? Apex is the zone 1. And base is the zone 3. Base is the zone 3, guys. Base is the zone 3. Why it's not writing? Yeah, base is zone 3. So base. So who is receiving more blood? Base of the lung is receiving the highest blood. Okay. So that means, can I say I have to remember 3 pressures first to understand this thing? I should remember I have a PA. Why it's not writing? What happens to this? I don't know. Okay, we have PA. We have PA. And we have PV. Guys, I have seen a lot of confusion on this thing. One is P capital A, one is P small a, another is PV. P subscript A, capital A, is called alveolar pressure. First, to make you oriented, alveolar pressure. P small a is called arterial pressure. Arterial pressure. Arteriolar, not arterial pressure. PV is the venous pressure. PV is the venous pressure. So can I say if I am having low, there is a concept first you have to remember, that who is having the highest pressure out of these in the apex, which is highest? Alveolar pressure is highest. Alveolar pressure is highest. Remember first this concept. Alveolar pressure is highest in the apex. Alveolar pressure is highest in the apex. That means blood flow is lowest. That means blood flow is lowest, isn't it? More expansion is happening, isn't it? Okay. I want to tell basically, this is not actually zone 1, which you think that it is normally present. Zone 1 is not present there. Do you know this? Zone 1 is not present, my dears. It is only when you are giving that artificial respiratory support, PPV. What is PPV? Positive pressure ventilation. Once you give a positive pressure ventilation, that means the lungs is in need. So it's expanding everything. It is expanding everything so that it can give the oxygenation. Okay. So remember, it's only if you want to see zone 1, you should say it's not normally there. If they ask you, is zone 1 there? No, it's not usually there. But yeah, once you give up artificial ventilation, positive pressure ventilation, I will be teaching you this in anesthesia also. Positive pressure ventilation, PPV, it will, it will create this zone. This zone 1 will be created. This will come into existence. Now, which is among the highest pressure? It is the alveolar pressure, which is the highest. Which is the lowest in this case? I should make a descending trend. I should make a trend. PA. It's taking so time to write. Okay. PA is greater than P small a is greater than PV in the apex. In the apex, I have to remember just alveolar pressure is highest there. Okay. So, since the blood flow will not be happening, once you are doing that 0.8 second thing, you are doing a whole of the cardiac cycle, the blood flow to this region will not happen. So that is called, we call it, the alveoli here are becoming a dead space. They are behaving as a alveolar dead space. They are behaving as a alveolar dead space. Alveolar dead space. Is it clear? So PA is greater than PA is greater than PV. Talking about the base, then I go into the medium. Okay. This base, who was having more? What pressure will be more here? PA will be here. Then PV will be here. Then PA will be here. Can we understand? PA is the arterial pressure, more on the base zone, zone 3. So more arterial pressure on the base, then more venous pressure, then arterial pressure. Okay, and this is the busy guy. This is the busy zone throughout the cardiac cycle. Throughout the cardiac cycle, this is the busy zone. Beautiful medical science. Busy zone throughout the cardiac cycle means what is the component of cardiac cycle? Systole and diastole. Systole and diastole. We'll be teaching you the cardiac cycle in detail. Okay. Can we see the arterial pressure is high and venous pressure is comparatively low? There is a difference. That's how blood will come here. That's how blood will become. No, because we have pressure difference. I hope you know the flow. That's why the blood will flow. Will be more here. Okay. That also will contribute to that. Okay. So what about we have read, I think, zone 1. We have now 2 zones remaining. That is zone 2 and zone 3. Zone 4 basically. Zone 2 is this middle zone. Zone 2, guys. This is zone 2. What about the zone 2? What to say? Zone 2, you have same P arterial greater than PA. Can we see the trend? Greater than PV. P small a greater than PA greater than PV. Is it clear? So we will say it is a medium blood flow area. A medium blood flow is happening here. Okay. So we sometimes call this area exhibits an effect that is called waterfall effect. Waterfall effect is shown by this area. Okay. So where to locate this in the chest X-ray is if I take both the lungs. Okay. This is my heart. Let me take a cardiac silhouette. Okay. Lingula of the left lung. And here is this is the cardiac notch in the lung, left lung. So where will I locate this? You have to directly go 3 centimeters to the heart. 3 centimeters, above 3 centimeters. You have to go 3 centimeters above the heart. You can locate this medium. Okay. You can locate this. Is it clear? This is the left lung, this is the right lung. 3 centimeter above the heart. Fine. So who is having the highest blood flow? Base. Who is having the medium blood flow? Zone 2. Who is having the lowest blood flow? Zone 1. Can we understand now? So who is having the highest? Zone 3. Who is having the lowest? Zone 1. Who is having the medium? Medium. Zone 2. Okay. So what about zone 4? Yes, where is the zone 4? Sir, we have finished every zone. Who can tell me? Third year people. Where can you see the zone 4 in the lung? I can't see. Yes. Where is the zone? Okay, remember zone 4 is equal to zone 3. Okay, zone 4 is equal to zone 3. What happened suddenly? Zone 4 is equal to zone 3. Okay, in this case, you will have more of arterial pressure. The arterial pressure will go dominate. The arterial pressure will dominate on the venous pressure. Okay, so you have to go at the region of extremes of the base of the lung. Okay, is it clear? So you have to go at the extreme base of the lungs, and there the vessels will be becoming same behaving like as zone 3. That's why I told you zone 3 is equal to zone 4. But remember, it will be at the extreme base. Okay. So are these zones physiological or anatomical? These are physiological zones, sir. You said based on the blood flow. I did not talk about any right fissure. I did not talk about any longitudinal fissure. I did not talk about any transverse fissure. I did not told anything about anatomy. I just told apex, base, and flow and arterial PA greater than PA greater than PV, PA greater than PA greater than PV, PA greater than PV greater than PA. Isn't it? Just have to speak small capital, small capital. Just I remember this is how I don't forget why, because PA is capital, capital is apex, but is receiving the lowest blood flow. Here PA is small, but is receiving the highest blood flow because it's an arterial, definitely. Arterial is dominating, so PA. Arterial, yeah, arterial. Arterial. Capital A is giving you what? Capital A is alveolar. Small a is arteriolar. Sorry, arterial. Okay, arterial. So do you see who is regulating the blood flow in the lungs? Who is regulating the blood flow in the lungs, guys? Where did I write A? Oh, I have written small a. My dear, I have written small a. I have written small a. Small a is true. Arterial. Zone 4 again same. Once you at the in extreme conditions you will be having arterial pressure. Arterial pressure, arterial. PA small a. Okay, you do one thing. You remember only one. Rest all you can remember. Remember this small a is arterial, or remember only this is alveolar. Okay, it's your choice now how to remember. Don't confuse yourself. That's why I told you there is so much misconception in this. If I tell you I am measuring the SaO2, they say, okay, yeah, he is using the pulse oximeter. Oh my God, oh my God. They are doing, saying as I am measuring SaO2 on the pulse oximeter, and I say, no, I clapped for them because, such new medical science coming up in this world. They say that medical science which is out of the books of medical books, isn't it? Not in the medical books. So this is the concept. Now tell me one thing, who is regulating this blood flow in the lungs? Yes. Why you are all sleeping? I want answers. Who you are able to see, who is regulating the blood flow in the lungs? Who is saying that I should give more blood flow, I should take more blood flow in the lungs? Auto-regulation, I'm saying. So there is no auto-regulation lungs. There is no auto-regulation lungs. There is no auto-regulation lungs. But who will say that more blood is coming? It is the right ventricle. The right ventricular cardiac output will define how much pulmonary circulation should go. And I want to tell you a beautiful concept. It is this pulmonary vessels. It is this pulmonary vessels who will have an effect on the pulmonary artery. These vessels will regulate this vessel. These vessels, pulmonary circulatory vessels, will do the auto-regulation of pulmonary artery pressure. A beautiful concept. They in turn themselves will regulate. Now, right ventricular cardiac output is sending blood. Right ventricle is sending blood into the pulmonary artery, isn't it? Are we lost or are we intact, in line? Guys, are we in line or we are lost? Guys, do you know what I'm speaking? I'm speaking about the right ventricle. Right ventricle, you have a pulmonary artery which is going towards the lungs. Now, lungs has its own minute vessels. Now, this vasculature will regulate the pressure in the pulmonary artery. A beautiful concept it is. Is it clear? Is there any doubt in this? Is there any doubt, guys? By the way, how much blood is the lungs receiving? How much blood does the lung receive? Yeah. Okay. You don't know it. Okay, tell me like this. Okay, let me start like this. They will ask you a question. The question will be, I have taught you in the past. Who is having the highest auto-regulation? Who can very beautifully, strongly auto-regulate? I give you options. Okay. Heart, brain. Let me make a brain. kidney, GIT. Listen to the question first. Lungs. 5 options. Okay, first question, listen. First question is, who is having the strongest autoregulation? So the answer is, take always in the exam, heart. What? Heart. This is a conceptual thing, okay? This is a factual thing. So heart, after that you will take, if heart is not in the question, then brain. Then brain, okay? So heart, you have to write. Why? Between 60 to 200 mmHg it's maintaining. Between 60 to 200 mmHg it's maintaining the pressure. Brain, between 65 to 140 mmHg. Kidney, kidney was around 75, I think, 75 to 150 mmHg. Okay, you should take the book. Okay, you should take the book. I think it's 75 to 150 or 160, something like that. Okay, so these all are the cases. So what about these two? What about these two? Okay, what about these two? These kidney, sorry, GIT. What about GIT? GIT, no value, moderate. Remember, moderate. It has a moderate type of, who is having a very least, autoregulation. Who is having the least autoregulation? Which of the following? I give you another. Skin. No, skin is having the least. That's how they will play with the words. Skin is having the least. Now, if they ask who is having no autoregulation, it's lungs. Who is having no autoregulation? Lungs. Who is having least autoregulation? Skin. Who is having highest autoregulation? Heart. Okay, fine. Is it clear? Least in skin, high in, strongest in the heart, moderate in the lungs, moderate in the GIT, moderate in the skeletal muscle, moderate in the skeletal muscle also, moderate. Is it clear? So we have given 3 degrees to remember. Strongest, you can bring this. Okay, out of these, who is strongest? This moderate, this no, this least. I hope you have enjoyed this discussion. This was all what is important from the hemodynamic perspective of lungs. I hope you have enjoyed this topic. Stay tuned for next video. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.